In the 1700s, Edinburgh was not the elegant planned city we see today. There were no wide streets of the new town, no open squares, no Georgian terraces. The entire city clung tightly to a narrow volcanic ridge, like a long spine squeezed between steep slopes on one side and the defensive Nor Loch on the other. Tenements rose 6 to 12 stories high, so close together that people in opposite buildings could almost reach out and shake hands across the lane. This reconstruction brings 1700s Edinburgh back to life using historical paintings, engravings, maps, and contemporary descriptions. We will walk along the Royal Mile, stand beneath the Castle Rock, smell the smoke and stench of the Nor Loch, and feel the rhythm of a city that was loud, tough, dangerous, and completely unique.
Edinburgh Castle sits at the western end of the ridge, rooted so deeply into the basalt rock that it feels like an extension of the landscape itself. By the 1700s, it was already ancient, besieged countless times, bombarded, destroyed, and rebuilt. To the south, the rock drops sharply into open fields. To the north, the Nor Loch, a man-made lake created in the 15th century for defense, stretches below like a dark moat. The castle is more than a fortress, it is the city's skyline and daily landmark. Every resident sees it constantly. Its cannons face outward toward the city and the Firth of Forth. Inside the walls, soldiers drill, prisoners wait, and the governor manages the unchanging routine. From the castle esplanade, the Royal Mile, then simply called the High Street, slopes gently eastward. This single street is the main artery, connecting the castle at one end to Holyrood Palace at the other. Tall tenements line both sides, stone on the lower floors, timber higher up, with external forestairs jutting into the roadway. The street is part cobblestone, part mud, always slippery after rain, always crowded. Narrow closes branch off the mile like side veins. Some are dark tunnels, others stepped paths dropping steeply to the cowgate or grass market below. In these closes, life is close and intense. Neighbors talk from window to window. Children play. Laundry hangs overhead, and arguments or fights sometimes spill into the open. The air smells of wood smoke from hundreds of hearths, fresh bread, horse manure, and the sour tang of middens. Halfway along the mile stands St Giles Cathedral. Its stone-crowned steeple is the city's most famous silhouette. By the 1700s, the interior has been divided into several parish churches since the Reformation. This is where powerful sermons could start riots, where the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland debates doctrine and politics, and where the city gathers in times of crisis or celebration. Outside, the equestrian statue of Charles II, placed in 1485, gazes down the street, a clear symbol of restored royal power after civil war. Even after the 1707 Union moved Parliament to London, the presence of the crown remains carved in stone here. The Tolbooth, law, prison, and authority almost attached to St Giles, stands the Tolbooth, the grim multi-purpose center of civic life. It serves as town hall, courthouse, and prison all at once. Thick stone walls hold debtors, criminals, political prisoners, and the unlucky. Iron spikes on the roof once displayed traitors' heads. Inside, the air is damp and heavy with overcrowding. Outside, daily life on the mile continues only feet away. Further east, the distinctive tower of the Tron Kirk marks one of the busiest intersections on the mile. Built in the 1640s, by the 1700s it functions as both church and civic landmark. People meet on its steps, proclamations are read aloud, and business is done. Here the street is constantly loud, traders shouting, carts rumbling, arguments flaring. The Tron feels like the living heartbeat of Edinburgh. At the eastern foot of the mile lies Holyrood Palace, Scotland's official royal residence. By the 1700s, it is used only occasionally. The monarch visits rarely after the Union of Crowns, 1403. and even less after the 1707 union. Next to it, the Abbey Church, founded in the 12th century, stands roofless since the Reformation, open to the sky, walls slowly crumbling, occasionally used for shelter or storage. Compared to the castle, everything here feels flatter and more open, ceremonial rather than defensive, facing fields instead of rock. North of the castle, the Nor Loch stretches like a dark barrier, artificially created in the 15th century for protection. By the 1700s, it has become the city's main waste dump, sewage, household refuse, dead animals. On warm days, the stench drifts up to the castle ramparts. Women sometimes spread laundry on the grassy edges, children play near the shore. In the distance, St Cuthbert's Kirk stands quietly on the far bank amid open land. South and west of the castle, the ground opens into fields and gentle slopes. Here people play golf on rough grass, swinging clubs, striking balls toward distant holes. Golf is already an old Scottish pastime, played informally long before proper courses existed. The castle towers silently above, while ordinary life carries on below. Further south stands George Heriot's Hospital, now a cool, a symmetrical Renaissance building founded in 1628 to educate poor boys. Its classical design stands out against the crowded Old Town, showing that charity and education were valued alongside defense. Nearby, the Royal Infirmary, 1736, represents the new era of scientific medicine, ordered wards, surgeons, and apothecaries treating the sick systematically. At the eastern boundary, until demolished in 1764, the Netherbow Port guarded the road from Holyrood. A narrow gateway in the old town wall, it forced all traffic, carts, travelers, livestock, through one controlled point. Soldiers inspected goods, collected tolls, and watched for trouble. Beyond it lay open countryside. Inside the city began. Edinburgh in the 1700s is bursting at the seams. With no room to expand outward, tenements climb ever higher. Closes become darker and more crowded. Disease spreads quickly, smallpox, fever, the constant threat of worse. Yet this very pressure creates energy. Coffee houses buzz with debate. Enlightenment thinkers walk the same streets as porters and merchants. Trade continues despite power moving south to London after the 1707 union. Walk the Royal Mile today and the ridge remains the same, castle to palace, uphill to downhill. St Giles still anchors the center, the Tron Kirk's tower endures, though rebuilt inside. Heriot's School survives in its original buildings. The Castle Rock stands unchanged. Holyrood Palace still welcomes royalty. Prince's Street gardens now cover the filled-in Nor Loch, but the slope and feeling of enclosure linger. Edinburgh never erased its past. It built upon it, stone upon stone, century upon century. The 1700s Old Town is still here, embedded in the modern city's fabric, reminding us that history is not replaced, it is layered.